as in first child to a Nigerian parent, living with a Nigerian mom in Nigeria was a lot. In fact, if you see any firstborn child today, please just dash them some small money. It will come in handy. I find creativity or inspiration for my creativity in very, very little things. For me, there's a story in everything. So every experience that I have, every place that I possibly go to, even in the movies that I watch, and the stories that I hear, there's a level of creative inspiration that I get from that.
In school, you were part-time by the side,
Yes.
doing that and getting paid as a student.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was there a time where you had to just do it because you wanted to do it, or was it, oh, I'm being paid for doing that?
I've always done things because of passion, to be honest, right? But you have to do for money at some point. So what I knew I had to do was learn how to monetize my skill in different ways. And that's what I've been doing over time. Thankfully, because I love what I do in terms of being in marketing and all, I'm also glad that what I love is sort of what's bringing me money or is what's getting me paid as well.
Change is inevitable, but change doesn't have to be the end. It's just a detour. On this podcast, we call Change the Left Turn. On the Left Turn, we speak to global trailblazers who have mastered life's unexpected twist, turning their childhood dreams into remarkable achievements. This season, we're bringing to you even more inspiring stories, valuable insights, and exciting conversation with amazing guests. So stick around to the end because we have something in store for you. So I have with me one of Nigeria's biggest content creators on LinkedIn with over 100,000 following. He is a reputable marketing content trainer, renowned for his exceptional skill in empowering entrepreneurs, digital marketers, and business owners to create content that build a global brand. With an illustrious track record, he has cemented his reputation as an influential figure within the content marketing landscape. His extensive expertise has guided countless creative and brands towards harnessing potentials of strategic content creation to build and fortify their brand identity. Notably recognized as a top 200 LinkedIn creator worldwide, a thought leader, underscores his capacity to inspire, educate audience from across the globe. He watches movies for fun, because he's an introvert. Join me today as I welcome a remarkable individual. His name is, so I call him Oche, but his name is Oche, right? Thank you for being on the show.
I think I'll start to penalize people for
I agree.
pronouncing my name wrongly, but it's fine, it's fine.
Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
How have you been? How's it been for you basically today?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm surviving Lagos, but it's been good. I think the year started out on a very good note, first off. So that's something I'm already thankful for, and 2025 is looking very, very interesting already, so yeah.
Well, you have a very wonderful bio, right? And I follow you. Again, I don't want to say this part, but I think I have to say it. It took me over a year.
Oh my God. Oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
That's very fine. It's understandable. Having over 100,000 followers, what do you expect? But really, were you a creative child? I'd like to know your childhood. What was it like for you?
Well, I think I would like to think I was a creative child, but maybe not expressively so. What that means, obviously, is I wasn't very, very opportuned, in quotes, to find various expressions to show my creativity. At least not until maybe much later. But I would say that the creativity was always there, and so once I got the opportunity to do so, it was easy to just tap into and express it on the level I'm doing currently.
Walk us through your childhood. What was it like growing up? What family? Were you a Lagos boy?
Definitely not a Lagos boy. And I'm not trying to be, even though I live in Lagos now. But
oh, that's not what I mean. Again.
Fair enough. So I was born into a family of four.
Okay.
Firstborn, yes, firstborn child. It's a lot. But I think my childhood was really interesting. I had quite a healthy growing up,
Okay.
thanks to mom and dad. I can still remember some very vivid pictures of how our parents would very much insist that we were very focused on the right things at the right time. And I think for them, as children at the time, it was to go to school, get educated, become learned, and obviously use that to build some sort of foundation for anything you're going to, climb on as you go, as you become older. And that really helped.
Okay.
I learned a whole lot from my mom, especially because, so my dad used to travel a lot, obviously because of work. So
Military?
no, definitely not military. He used to work in the bank at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so transfers here and there. And so I think I spent more time with my mom, as well as my siblings as well. And we would always, I would always watch my mom wake up early, try to get us ready for school, try to also make sure that we had everything that we needed, part time. And it was really a very, very helpful thing that she did, because to be honest, that really sort of helped to shape all of us today. Um, I, because of the nature of, just being very much focused on things like going to school, get back from school, read your books, do your homework, go back to go to sleep, wake up the next day, go to school. I didn't really explore a lot, so hence my being an introvert. I was always indoor, always behind closed doors and all of that. So that's why I think I've just grown up with that trait. And so when you call me to leave the house, I have to pray and give thanks to God. But I think that's something I'm also learning as I've grown now, and I'm finding different ways to work around that. But I would say that I had quite an amazing childhood, and yeah, there's just been a lot of things that have contributed in shaping me today.
How many siblings do you have? 4 siblings. Were they all?
So we're
Mixed?
4, so we have 3. One girl, the rest are some very, very interesting boys. Yeah, but I think we're very much close as siblings. But obviously, because we have just one sister, there's a way that we have this unusual way of making sure she's good. She's the third, but
Okay.
right now she's pretty much already acting as the mother of the house. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was it like for being the first child? I used to wonder, because I have pretty lot of people have first girl as a child, so there's this go and do this. What was it like for a first child? Because it seems like from what you just described, you were close to mommy, so it feels like you were involved in that thing. What was it like for you? Did they tell you, oh, you're a boy, go to the sitting room, you don't have to be in the kitchen?
Well, it was interesting, right? Well, it was a lot. As in first child to a Nigerian parent, living with a Nigerian mom in Nigeria was a lot. In fact, if you see any firstborn child today, please just dash them some small money. It will come in handy, right? But I think that just as is usual with every Nigerian home, there was already that established, quote unquote, pressure to be a great child. Obviously, because you're the leader of your siblings and all. So, my parents would obviously always find ways to shine the light on making sure that I'm very particular about my values.
Yeah.
As that would obviously shape, the mindset of my younger ones as we grow. And so that's really helped. Yes, at some point you would say, oh God, why am I the firstborn? Because now you have to make sure, it's almost like you're working on eggshells at some points. But to be honest, it's a very, very good thing to experience, because again, like I said earlier, it's kind of helps to set the tone for a lot of the things or how your life would go on to be. And for me, I can tell you for free that I've taken so many lessons from being a first child, especially growing up as a first child, that I'm using now to build whatever it is I'm building, even as I'm still growing, because I'm still a small boy.
Yeah, you guess. All right, that's really interesting. I hear this thing about they say firstborns are usually not smart. Is that true?
Really? Oh, no, no. I will fight for firstborns. We are what? We are very smart. We think on the spot a lot and we sacrifice. Yes, yes. No, come on. We're definitely smart.
Were you ever beaten because of what your younger ones did?
Okay, I was going to say yes, I was beaten. But not entirely because of what my young... Thankfully, and I think it's something I'm always very thankful to God, for. I have really peaceful siblings or
nice.
younger ones, yes. 100% respect. So I'm living the life as a firstborn.
Yeah.
In terms of that. But they really didn't give me stress. And so they weren't, I can't remember times that, they went to, or they engaged in some mischief and I was the one responsible for it, right?
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah, we were good like that. We're good like that.
That's nice.
Setting my siblings.
All right. So, at what point did you know what you wanted to do? Like, were you part of the kids that wanted to be a doctor, or maybe a banker like your father, or what was it like?
Well, I think I was one of those people who wanted to study medicine, become a medical doctor, get married at 23, and live life happily ever after. But you live in Nigeria. But I would also say that as much as I had that, dream of looking to be a doctor, obviously went through primary school, went through secondary school. I think somewhere around secondary school is when I realized that, okay, it's looking like this medicine thing is not going to go as planned, right? And I think at the time, JAM was jamming a lot of people, right? So obviously with advice from my parents as well, like, okay, you know what? I think the next closest thing to medicine would be engineering.
Oh, okay.
There's this perception of the three big courses.
Yes, three.
It was
engineering, medicine,
and law. Yeah. So obviously my people wanted me to study science. So if medicine wasn't going to look like the best option, you might as well do engineering. And I think that's pretty much how, I said, okay, you know what? I think I like the sound of engineering too.
You like the sound.
I like the sound, yes. I'm going somewhere. I liked the sound at the time.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, you know what? Graduate from school, engineer. Okay, sounds good.
Engineer Oche.
Yes,
Oche.
exactly. Yeah. So I went to study that, electronics engineering.
Okay.
Yes. But I think somewhere along, now, mind you, before then, back in the days, even right from primary to secondary school, I always had a knack for writing. Okay. Yes, and I think it's something my mom also noticed when I was pretty much young, because I remember she would encourage me or help out with things like writing essays back in school. I did write a lot of essays, then it was a thing. So just for fun, I was doing it, right? And she would help a lot because she also had some sort of experience around English language, right? So I was doing a bit of that. I think I kind of took that on to early university where I started to write poetry. Yes. So a lot of people don't know this, but I actually started out my entire creative journey with writing poetry.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was a poet obviously by doing that, I grew into becoming a spoken word poetry. So I started to get called to perform my poetry,
nice.
at events, yes. I think it was what started to really give me some sort of, okay. I mean, I got some small change here and there. Thanks for coming, honorarium, as they used to call it back then.
What do they call it now?
Oh, I've dumped it. I don't know. So, but...
what would they call the honorarium now?
Well, I think, funny enough, by the way, I think I might go back to poetry because it's looking like people have figured it out. Because I heard one of my friends who's a poet the other day, she was going to perform somewhere and she was getting paid some good money. I was like, okay, I have this skill. And the reason I left was because it wasn't, really looking like it was going to be it for me. So, but I might still dabble in that as we go. Okay. So I think somewhere around 300 level, I started to also realize that I kind of did like storytelling, and not just it wasn't just a liking thing, right? It was I knew, or I kind of imagine sense that I had the skill around it, and so I started to become more interested or more aware about the particular skill, and so it was something that really helped me. Now, fast forward to graduating school,
Yeah.
I also carried my degree and said, "Here is my degree, mom, dad, engineering." But imagine the shock or surprise when you bring your degree and you say, "Okay, you know what? I don't think I want to practice engineering, and I want to do something else."
Wow.
Yes, I want you to take a second.
What was your face like when you told them
Okay,
that?
I wish I could paint it here, but I think for them it was. So this was a process actually. When they started to notice that I was, I was getting into or diving into things like, poetry. I remember the first time my mom saw or heard that I was going to do something like that. She called me from school. What? You mean you're leaving your studies? You are going to do something like this? It was a few back and forth here and there, but I kind of understand now because it was their own way of trying to, how the whole job security thing,
Yeah.
our parents always had that, back then. So, but thankfully, I always kind of had some sort of determination when I really want to, pick on something and go for it. And so I would sort of hide, use the back door to still go about poetry even while I was still, facing my school studies and all. And I think over time, they started to see that I wasn't also giving up on it.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, they would still hear one or two, get some information that I was, still dabbling in poetry or with poetry and all of that. So they didn't really exactly pick a fight. They just wanted to make sure that I,
Knew what you were
finished.
doing.
Yes, knew what I was doing. Yes, and also made sure to. They didn't want, Nigerian parents don't want to hear that I've quit school.
Yeah.
So they made sure that I was able to at least finish up with my school. And when I came to them, I said, okay, you know what? I don't want to practice engineering full time. I kind of like want to dabble into some other things and express, my creativity in some other ways. It took a while, not gonna lie, but I'm thankful that they were also able to try to give me some room around that. And that was pretty much the building block for everything I'm building or I've built so far. So yeah, pretty much how my mom and dad accepted me, or accepted my degree and still let me start to intentionally chase my dreams. And that's how I found or I got into business and marketing.
Okay, so
Yes.
it means that while you were in school, you were part-time by the side,
Yes.
doing that and getting paid as a student.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was there a time where you had to just do it because you wanted to do it, or was it, oh, I'm being paid for doing that?
Oh, I've always done things because of passion, to be honest,
Okay.
right? But you have to do for money at some point. So what I knew I had to do was learn how to monetize
Okay.
my skill in different ways,
Okay.
and that's what I've been doing over time. Thankfully, because I love what I do in terms of being in marketing and all, I'm also glad that what I love is sort of what's bringing me money or
Yeah.
is what's getting me paid as well. So yeah, I just think it's a good combo.
Okay, so I like what you talk about passion and being paid for it. How long did this your passion start paying you?
It took a while.
So how did you survive that
Uh,
period?
well, I mean, parents are still helping out, but it
Okay.
took a while in the sense of one thing with making money is that when you are trying to do that, you're trying to bring some sort of value and then people can pay you for it. Now, because nobody just throws money at you, or in quote, dashes you money, they need that exchange of value. It might take a while because they're trying to build trust. So for me, when I got into or when I broke into the whole marketing space, and I started to actively build online. Obviously, I found social media and started to use it as a tool. I wasn't getting nobody ask about my services for a bit, right? So I would say my first few months of even trying to build actively on socials didn't exactly bring me financial benefits,
Okay.
but it was what built the foundation for how I'm earning today. And so that's why I always even like to tell my friends or younger creators like myself that, oh, okay, if you want to get into this creative industry, don't exactly dive headfirst looking to make money, but find a way to create some sort of value and then you can monetize that.
Why LinkedIn?
Why LinkedIn? So LinkedIn wasn't really an intentional thing.
Okay.
So it was in 2020. Lockdown had just been lifted, and before LinkedIn, I was on Instagram. I was trying to build on Instagram,
Okay.
trying to post here and there, and so I.
Tell me about it. So you had to try other
Yes,
platforms.
yeah, of course I did. I started out with, to be honest, I started out with Facebook.
Okay.
Yes. But when Facebook became for our parents, because they were snooping too much, like you cannot have your parents
You
competing
post,
with.
you get
Yes,
the comment.
exactly. You cannot
Wear
have
your clothes well.
exactly. So you're like, no, we cannot have this. So some of us ran from Facebook, and that's how I kind of went to Instagram and started to build on Instagram.
Okay.
And to be honest, I actually did get some traction on there, but it wasn't as much, of course. So one of those days in 2020, I think precisely around November, late October into November, I was scrolling through the internet and I found Gary V's video. I don't know if you know Gary V. Gary V is an amazing business creative as well. Okay. And he was talking about how LinkedIn and TikTok were platforms to look out for, that you should get on it and be on it because it had organic reach and you could start to see traction from having literally 0 followers. So I was like, okay, this Instagram I'm on, let me know, like, it's not that easy. Okay, how about I try LinkedIn? Because I've always had I knew about LinkedIn before then, but I always seen LinkedIn as a
corporate space.
Yes, a corporate space where you needed to wear your suit and tie, go and look for a job, right? So I didn't really take it serious and all. But when I heard Gary Vee mention or hammer so much on the fact that he had organic reach, I figured, you know what, I'm going to try this out. And so I opened the LinkedIn account, and one day after they restricted me, I said, great, that's the end for me, right? And so I dumped the account.
My village people.
Yes, my village people are succeeded. I was like, I don't even like the platform in the first place, so it's my cue to leave. So I didn't bother about it for a few weeks. And then again, I bumped into another video of Gary Vee mentioning the same thing. So I was like, okay. So I said, let me try again. I went and I opened a new account again. 1 or 2 days after, again, restricted. I said, no, there's something here. So I tried to appeal to LinkedIn. And at the time they were doing that, it was quite a thing, accounts getting restricted.
Yeah.
Yes. So I found a way to get my account restored and got access back to it. And then I started to use it. Made a few posts with almost 10 followers. And yes, I didn't get, of course, I just started, so I wasn't expecting to, blow up. But I didn't get the likes I was, expecting. But I saw something, and that was the organic reach that Gary Vee mentioned. With my 0 followers, almost 0 followers, I saw that hundreds of people saw my post. Not necessarily may have liked, but saw it. I was like, this doesn't happen on Instagram. So it means that this is good, and there's something here. And so that was what inspired me to stay. So like I said, it wasn't an intentional thing exactly. Yeah. It was being inspired from, watching what Gary Vee said about it and then actually experiencing the organic reach for myself.
After being rejected twice.
After being rejected twice, right? And so, yeah, that was how I said, you know what, this is where I'll finish my data. And then I bought more data and continued sharing content. And yes, with a whole lot of consistency, we've been building something really good.
Yes, you have been. Like most times, I just get to see your videos and I'm reposting and stuff. So I saw one of your posts where you mentioned, of course, steady follower of your page, right? Yeah. I saw one of your posts where you mentioned you being introvert. I know you also mentioned it, your growing up actually influenced that. Could you just, your post doesn't really tell. Like,
I get that a lot.
We cannot even.
And I wonder.
How was it? How were you able to navigate the boat? I don't know. Maybe you should just.
I think I'm just very good at pretending. I think I've done so well at pretending to be an extrovert, so people now believe. But I'm a full. If I believe that if you put me and the biggest introvert you know, I am more introverted
Wow.
than that person,
Wow.
right? And I'm just very comfortable in being. I wouldn't use the word alone, but just being in my own space.
Space.
Right? So it's such a very big hassle to go out there, and that's why content creation was a big challenge for me, because for a long time when I started to make content, I was so the reason my name is Right, Oche, or my brand name is Oche Right, is because I thought I was going to be writing forever.
Oh, I
Right?
see.
So I was going to use that, but I was really using that as a way of hiding behind my words, not exactly trying to put my face out there, because
Oh, I
put me in
see.
front of the camera and I will shake from morning till night.
Is he shaking?
Not now, I'm pretending. but it was a challenge for me, but I had to learn,
Yeah.
right, to figure out how to overcome that. And that's why I always talk about consistency. The reason I always say, for me, consistency is my biggest tool, is because every time that I sat in front of the camera was a learning process for me, right? When I started to make my first few videos, it was crazy, right? It was such a big there. But over time, I would find ways to communicate my message. So I also found my voice, and obviously with some other skills that I had, storytelling, I found ways to communicate my message without being too fidgety on camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been able to grow over a period of time. So that's why, again, I always say that everyone who thinks that because I get a lot of comments around, oh, how do you make your videos? You're so good at it, yada yada. I'm like, oh, it's actually a practice thing. It's just the way you go to the gym. I wish I did. But it's just the way you do go to the gym. Over time, you get used to lifting
Right.
weights if you want to lift weights and all of those things. So yeah, that's pretty much how I've gone through surviving and pretending to be an extrovert as an introvert.
How do you maintain this creativity? Because again, you say you like being in your space, you watch a movie for fun.
Yeah.
I think that creativity comes with maybe you explore things, you go out, you see stuff. How do you be in your space and then come up with things? I know the problems that people are solving,
Right.
like have, and then you're open. How do you do that?
So I think for us introverts, it's a bit different in terms of we have been able to find inspiration or creativity in the smallest instances.
I see.
So even just sitting at home and turning on the TV and watching a movie, I am getting a
Wow.
truckload of creative inspirations here and there, or even thankfully with the internet, spending some time on TikTok or whatever social media platform, I can see some things that okay, I like this. I think I can make something like this, but take it and make it mine.
Yeah.
Without necessarily looking like I'm copying this person, but just share my thoughts around it. Also impute my own approach and all of that. So I find creativity or inspiration for my creativity in very, very little things. And of course, even when I possibly go out, for me, there's a story in everything. So every experience that I have, every place that I possibly go to, even in the movies that I watch, and the stories that I hear, there's a level of creative inspiration that I get from that, and it helps. So it builds all of that. But other ways is I just sleep and wake up, and I'm good.
Nice. I think you're fed from that being an introvert, being on your own in your space.
Yes.
Right. That's really great. So it means that little time you get to see, there's something attention to details. I think that's what I was saying.
Yes. I think we have like a very heightened attention to details for introverts. Yeah.
That's nice. So so you do a lot of speaking engagement. Again, you say you're good at pretending. How does that work for an introvert? Like, can you just share a bit of tips on how, again, like you said, behind, but few tips that has worked for you? Because you said practice, but I'd like to know a few tips that have actually worked for you as an introvert and then able to go for public speaking engagements.
First off, it's a lot of peeing in your pants.
That's you being honest, right?
Yes, and a lot of shaking and quivering before you climb the stage, and a lot of butterflies. But I think for me, and even for my friends who are creatives that have gone on to things like public speaking, one thing, while we gather together and are sharing our story or just like, gisting as the case might be, one of the things we'd always say is, oh, one, when I went to participate at this particular event, before they called me on stage, I was feeling so jittery and all of that. But once I got on stage and saw that these people came here to really listen to me, I calmed down. So I think that confidence builds from a place of being aware that you've been called to provide some sort of value. So you're not there by chance.
Okay.
People who called you there called you to listen to you.
Okay.
And that in itself is powerful. But aside basic things like that, to be honest, confidence in public speaking comes from public speaking. Like the more you do it, the better you
get.
Yeah, my first few stage performances. Again, remember I told you I started with poetry.
Yeah.
First time I was called on stage to perform a piece, I kid you not, I forgot all my lines. And so I was wishing the ground could open up and just swallow me and take me home, sweet home. Yeah, but second one, third one, fifth one, it became better. So it gets better as you go because now your body gets to figure, and that's, again, that's something, right? Even with the biggest or the most famous public speakers, they all have that feeling before they get on stage. But because they've done it over and over again, they've become used to it and they've found ways around not letting it hold them back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So I hear you say practice, do it, learn from what people have said, and consistent practice.
Okay.
I've seen your videos. They look well shot and well edited. Do you host online classes for people that are interested or something?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yes. I mean, actually, I just started to do that recently because, again, for me, video is not something that I plan to really go into. So, in fact, how I even learned how to edit my videos myself was because sometimes I would want to, tell a particular story very quick, and I didn't want to have to wait for like maybe the video editor. And so I just found ways to, play around some things and, get my videos edited myself. But I've learned, a few things around that. And so I think when people see my videos, I get a lot of questions like, oh, are you available to train or like teach how to do this? And over time, I've kind of not really created time to do that. But recently, I think I created like a quick or a short course around that, and put it out there for a few people to get access to. So, but this year, I'm looking to see how I can, probably dabble more in that space.
Okay, that's amazing. So people can actually get to, because it's a lot, right?
Yeah, it is a lot.
And I think video content is something that is making waves or gives that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, currently, video is like the go-to tool for communicating. Obviously, we like influences from platforms as TikTok, Instagram, and majorly TikTok, of course. Other platforms are now trying to go the route of video. Even LinkedIn, funny enough, right? LinkedIn didn't used to be very video oriented. Even when I started to share videos on LinkedIn, it wasn't so much of a video platform. It was still like around text, written content, and all. So my videos didn't get the best engagement initially, right? Because the platform itself wasn't exactly tailored for that. But that's changing. In fact, that has changed. Yeah. Right now, LinkedIn has an entire, how do I call it now? They have an entire part on their feed for access to watch videos, and that tells you a whole lot. It means that video is, it's literally become the in thing in terms of like, content. Yeah.
So tell me, have you given up before on LinkedIn, got tired, and?
No, I can't try that. So I haven't given up because I haven't really experienced, quote unquote, the kind of obstacles to make me do that.
Okay.
I've enjoyed LinkedIn. So as much as, LinkedIn gets bad PR a lot because that was also my perception of LinkedIn before I got active. The whole idea of, when you go open your LinkedIn account, what you're seeing is, hi, hello, I'm excited to announce that I just got promoted, double promotion, graduated at 16, and I'm leaving the country now for you guys. So it was heavily built at the time, of course, on people just sharing their success. So you could go there and feel very intimidated.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of friends who are creators that still despise the LinkedIn platform. But I think that's one of the things that in my own way and on my own platform, I've been able to sort of like try to change a bit. Just be yourself and share your not your success story but your progress story. So you don't have to approach it like you're coming in as an expert. You can just document. So for me, content creation on LinkedIn or even any other platform is like documenting your journey,
Okay.
not exactly even creating. It's just a thing of documenting, right? So I've enjoyed my own process, and that's why I don't think I've gotten to a point at any time where I felt like, oh no, I need to create on the platform. Maybe because I wasn't getting what I was expecting per time. And again, one thing that's really helped is I don't set unrealistic expectations, and I give myself time and grace to, achieve those goals I've set. So no, I don't think I've experienced or got to the point where I would have wanted to quit LinkedIn.
Okay, great.
But sorry, I'm exploring other platforms.
Other platforms.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok now, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not dancing though.
Well, maybe TikTok is no more for dancing again.
It isn't.
But of course, it started by dancing, short video content.
Yeah, but it's evolved.
Okay, so I will say, have you been intimidated? No, rather, you are the one intimidating some of us.
Oh my God, am I doing that?
Of course, yes.
No, that's
some people
not the
like
plan.
when they come to LinkedIn, they are always intimidated. What's your advice? What advice would you give to those people? Because they want to start small and they're seeing some people and there are a lot of information scattered around. What do I do? What do I follow? So two things. One is, what would you advise someone that is trying to start up with LinkedIn, right? How do I stay focused on what the reason why I'm there and not be intimidated by other people?
Okay. So first, answer to your first question, which is what advice would I give to someone who's trying to start LinkedIn?
And is intimidated by all of you.
Oh, please, yeah. Now, please don't be intimidated by me. We're just managing small. But to be honest, I would always advise people to just start.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. I really don't have any other thing to add. All right. But the reason I say just start is, for me, that was what set the ball rolling for everything I've built or I am still building today. If you don't have your first, you can have your 100 or your 1,000, right? So start. If you want to become a writer, start writing. If you want to become a singer, start singing. You want to become a dancer, start singing, start dancing. You want to become an artist, start painting. But whatever it is you're trying to build,
just start.
Right. If you're trying to even build a business, that seems very, very crazy, but which I think entrepreneurs are really the craziest people on this earth. But just start. Start your own creative journey or process, because when you start, you give yourself a chance at success. Secondly, when you start, don't feel intimidated by the journeys of other people.
How?
Because everybody's at different points in their creative process, in their journey, or in their story, right? So you can't compare someone's version of their highlight reel to your own backstory. You're just starting. This other person. So when people look at my videos, oh my God, I wish I can create content like I say, you actually can't. Oh my God, that sounded proud.
Right. Yes.
Oh, no, that's not the plan. Okay, what I mean is, it takes a process. There's a process to these things, right? But so I started something recently on LinkedIn this year. I went online on LinkedIn, crazy stuff, right? I said, I dare you to create content for 30 days. From the 1st of January to 31st. Guess what? People are doing it, right? And people started to create videos. I've seen some videos, I've laughed, but I understood the idea of them starting, because that first video would be the foundation for every other thing, right? So if you don't make your first video, you won't learn. oh, okay, I can do this better in the next one. I can. If you don't make your third, you won't learn how to get better with your tenth, right? So for me, that was just a way of getting people to just move off the point of ideation because we spend so much time thinking,
Yeah.
strategizing. But where the magic happens or the needle really moves is when you start to do, right? So when you start your own journey or you're building your own process, through your own process, don't try to compare yours with any other person's because you don't know how long they've been at it. You don't know if they're just starting. You don't know if they've been there for a long time. But what you want to do is just look at your own process and enjoy it. And then you would obviously be able to grow by your own process and your time. Yeah.
Can you give us 2 tricks? Because again, this is me asking because when I started LinkedIn, right, I was just following different people. And I know that the little I know was, okay, if I'm at a niche, I have to follow people just so that my reach is towards, or how do I put it now?
Is that why you followed me? Wow, that's why you followed me. So you're following me for your
Well,
own benefit.
again, of course.
Oh, I thought you really liked me and my
Well,
content.
I like what I'm seeing there.
Okay.
All
Fair
right, but
enough.
it's like, I think at a point, I was following content
Right.
creators, and then I'm asking most of the things I started seeing on my feed was more of content creator. I wasn't seeing in quotes I'm a customer support enthusiast, a
Your
business
niche, people
operator.
in
I was
your
like, why am I
area.
just seeing? Of course. So what 2, 3 tricks would you want to give again for people that are starting and want to stay consistent, right? And what 2 tricks or that you would like to share that can help them? Because again, in as much as you didn't experience that stuff, there are people that will probably be there for a long time and
True.
they're still having few followers. What are the things that you think they can do or they've not done right or they can do basically to help them build following and attract the right audience?
Okay, great. So first off, to be honest, I think that's been a really great question because I was even speaking with my friend the other day, and we were highlighting a few things around this particular discussion of how,
Yeah.
yes, we want people to really start, their journeys, but the truth is, which comes, leads to my first trick, if I should call it, is to sort of have a goal
Okay.
for what it is you're building.
A goal. Yeah.
Yes, the reason is there's no such thing as random acts of, in marketing, we would say there's no such thing as random acts of content, but I also think it applies to every other area, right? So the reason why you were having or coming across posts of creators at the time was because your goal at the time was maybe to learn how to create content, was to get better with your communication through that. So that's what you were searching. That was your goal, and that's what you were actively looking for, or trying to fulfill or achieve, right? So
I was following people with plenty followers.
well,
Why are people following these people?
yeah, exactly. So why are these people following? Why are people following these people? That made you inquisitive as to want to find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But majorly, you had that goal first, and that shaped your actions even
That's
online.
true. That's true.
Right. So have a goal for what it is you're trying to build, so that you don't easily give up when you don't see some kind of results. Because if you don't have a goal, you jump on everything, and everything, like they say, always ends up in nothing, right? So the goal helps you to manage your actions
Yeah.
properly. Now, identifying your goal now leads into the second tip or trick or strategy, which is
Yeah.
to be consistent at the actions that will help you
To achieve that goal.
achieve that goal.
Okay.
And to me, that's what I've done over time. From the first day I opened the LinkedIn account, I haven't spoken about 2 things. I've spoken about 1 thing every single day, and that's content marketing. And what I've only done is I found 1,000 ways to talk about 1 thing, right? But that's really what has shaped what I built it. So the reason why I can go, a brand or a company can call me to train their staff around content marketing, or I built a cult of following, or I've worked with reputable brands both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria as a creator, as a content marketing guy, is because I've showed up consistently doing that 1 thing I know and I promised that I can do. And that has built trust, right? And then third, you asked for 3.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna give 4, but I'll stop at 3.
No, 4 is fine. 4 is fine.
So
An extra is good.
okay, fair enough. So then the third thing would be, again, still on the consistency thing, right? I think a misconception people have is that consistency is the number of times you show up. That would make sense, but the truth is, consistency is not necessarily that. I always like to say that consistency is not intensity. Yeah, it's not the number of times you show up. Consistency is being able to perceive at something. You get? So if I show up 1 time a week, as far as I can do that every week, that's consistency. It doesn't mean I must be doing it every day.
Every weekend.
Yes. So consistency is not intensity at all. It's I wake up and the determination to show up when I said I will, when I promised to do so, right? So that really helps with also not putting too much pressure on yourself, because some people think it's by posting every day, but it's not by posting every day. So yeah, then ultimately the third would be to, like you mentioned, find or network, if I should use that word, with other people who are aligned with what you're trying to build part time.
Yeah.
Like me, when I started to actively create content, I started to consciously get out of my shell and make friends or connections with people who are already doing that.
Okay.
Right. So I've been able to make friends with the people, creators in the industry, different niches, and learned a thing or two from their own journeys as well, which I've applied, or taken a cue and applied in mine. So yes, that's very important. You cannot do this thing on your own.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to need that. And then fourth, or maybe a bonus advice, would be to make sure that every time that you show up, you're creating value. Because everything you do and don't do builds your brand, which also transcends to everything you post and don't post builds your brand.
Yeah.
So that's why I would intentionally not post some kinds of things, because it's not building my brand. Right? So it's not just what you post, the things you don't also post. Is knowingly and unknowingly building your brand. Right? So be very intentional with providing value that every time that you show up. That way, when people think of you, they think of that value, and then they can align that with wanting to work with you, do business with you, even mention your name in rooms that you're not there.
Thank you for sticking around. This season, we're giving our viewers the opportunity to be mentored by our guests. If you are a small business owner or an early stage startup founder, fill the link in the description to join the poll. Every episode, one lucky winner will be selected to be mentored by our amazing guests. Now back to the conversation. How do you get people to repost your
I hate telling people to repost, because I'm like,
they just do it, right?
Yes, because
Right.
again, I speak in a language that they understand. I'm good like that. Oh my God.
right.
I don't know, this podcast is making me proud. That's not the plan.
It's allowed. It's making you be you, right? All right. I think it's been a very interesting conversation. And the last question for me will be, what's the next milestone you're striving for LinkedIn? Like,
Okay, just for LinkedIn?
yeah, not just for LinkedIn. I think for
Okay.
everywhere. I know we're having a conversation around other platforms.
Yes, of course.
And yes, so I'm going to just say it now. He's wanting to start content on YouTube. We're
Oh
all
my
going to
God,
hold him
you
accountable.
put me on the spot. You did that. That was supposed
Yes,
to be a
please.
behind the scenes conversation. That's fine. That's
So we can
fine.
remind
Nice.
you with this video, probably use it to torment you.
Sharp. Okay, no, I would get on YouTube. I should get on YouTube. I need YouTube money.
Yeah,
Yes, that's the only reason.
that's very understandable.
Yeah. So, well, I think for LinkedIn, I don't know that, I genuinely don't know that I have milestones right now set for
Yeah.
LinkedIn. That's because I think for me, what I'm just doing is nurturing my community. I'm not even interested in growing my numbers. To be honest, I've never been interested in growing my numbers.
Okay.
So even when people started to celebrate, I remember when I was when maybe like a year ago or so, or 2 years, people used to actively, and I think it still happens now. Again, it's a great thing, right? Where they share. I just climbed 22K followers. I just climbed 23, so they count it publicly. Great stuff. I love. No, I didn't know that was a thing, because for me, follower count wasn't like it wasn't like a goal for me per se. So I didn't mention anything about my follow accounts till I was 50K. When I entered 50K, and this was like very rare at the time, it was like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You have 50K, how? LinkedIn is not necessarily seen as that kind of
Yeah.
platform. So one of my friends like, post about it, Joe. And celebrities, I was like, post about it. Now, how will I post? Is it a milestone? But I did that. So I don't think that's really a milestone for me right now. What I would say is I'm just nurturing my community and making sure that I provide value with the brands that I work with, and also get more people to show up on LinkedIn, because there's like a whole lot of opportunities there. But aside LinkedIn, I would say a milestone I'm really looking forward to is empowering more African creators to go global.
Okay.
Yes, the reason being, now the content creators or the creative industry is still a baby, but it's growing very rapidly. So there's more people who are outside our country that are or more people who are outside Africa that are benefiting from that. I'm not just talking monetization, even the opportunities available, right? So for us in Africa, the elements that has really, really started to set us apart or put us on that global stage and have some sort of very global relevance is Afrobeats, music,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But I've been looking, I was thinking about it, and I was like, we don't have to just let it lie on the back of only Afrobeats. Doesn't have to just be our artist. Doesn't have to only be a Wizkid or a David or a Burna, right? Shout out to Team Wizkid, by the way. So I want more writers, more designers, more photographers, more videographers, more creators generally to actually start to have that global or build that global relevance, whereby it's not just the Mr. Beast we're looking up to. We can have a Nigerian creator who's as big or who has created such a huge platform like that. And so, to be honest, I think it really starts with educating ourselves first on a lot of things. And so that was what led to me building a platform called Revolve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Revolve is going to be like a platform, although we're starting out as an event that would bring together some Nigerian or African creatives or creators who have built that global dominance to an extent to come share and tell us a bit more about how they've done that. And then we can learn from them, and so we can take those lessons and use them on our own personal journeys to build that global relevance, right? I was looking to host our first event somewhere around April this year.
Oh, nice.
And we have some of your favorite creatives or creators who are going to be, come speak. You can also get to network with them and all of that.
Amazing.
So that's something that is really key for me right now. And I'm looking to see how we can, build that as a very huge milestone. Not just for me, but for all of us as Africans, all of us as Nigerians. Yes.
How can people participate?
So currently we have our website, www.revolvecon.com. You can get more information about that there, and it's a free event, so you can also get to register on that platform. But as we go, we're looking to also unveil new things or share more information on us across our social media platforms. Of course, still just search our Revolve Con and you would find us on any of these platforms.
Nice.
Yes.
Averagely, how many DMs you get in a day? Having over 100,000 followers, averagely, how many DMs you get?
It's a lot too, because sometimes it takes a while to even get to all of them. But on a day that my feed is buzzing and I drop one serious pro tip, I'm getting hundreds. I'm getting DMs in their hundreds, right? On some days because that's the thing as creators, some days everywhere is quiet. You can just get a couple. But yeah, I do get a whole lot, especially on LinkedIn, because I have a very huge community there compared to maybe my other social media platforms.
What's the weirdest thing you've read?
The weirdest thing I've read? I think people respect me.
Truth?
People really respect me in this life. Nobody says anything weird to me.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, I'm even shocked myself. Myself, I shocked because the things I've heard people say they've gotten as DMs, I'm like, they don't used to send me those kind of DMs. So I'll look you want some kind of those kind of DMs sometimes to see how it feels.
Facts, truth.
but no, nobody has asked me out yet.
Really?
in
Well,
my
some
DMs.
people, okay, we've seen a
Maybe
couple.
they've tried in another way, but come straight.
Right? Or rather, you're not, or better still, you're not seeing the message.
I'm
This
not
guy
seeing it. Okay,
communicates.
it's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're not seeing the green lights.
I'm not seeing the green light, and I want the green light. But I think
Yeah.
I have like a very very interesting community.
Yeah.
They always reach out to either thank me for what the work I'm doing or the content I'm creating, or they're looking to see how to work with me or learn and mentorships and all of that. Those are the kind of messages I get. Very serious.
Amazing. I'm happy for you.
Thank
Because
you.
even me with my small following,
Yeah, there are
there are some blockings.
no, I need to experience that. You should send me. I don't know. I might not block you. I might not block you.
No, of course, some people. In fact, I think there is something about LinkedIn. But there's some that when you try to follow, you just hear, check this person or something, because I just want to click on follow.
Yeah.
Accept, and LinkedIn just nudge you to like check this person or something, and I think it's a very great feature.
Yeah, true. I agree.
It's been great having conversations with you, right?
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It was fun coming here. Finally.
Yes, we don't want to go there.
We don't want to go there. But thanks for having me.
Yes, I had to get him, I think on the 1st of January, crossover. We were crossed over.
We're crossed
and he
over.
agreed to come.
You see why you should cross over?
Yes.
You see why you should cross over? I don't know where you find your blessings.
Yes. All right, last part is we have a few SMEs who have registered. We have a link on our description, in the description.
Okay.
We have SMEs that have registered. So we, as a bonus and give back to the community or to my followers, we have a selected SMEs. So we choose randomly from one that you could have a bit of guidance, brief conversation, or I would rather say maybe a 1 hour of life-changing experience for them, if possible, right?
Are you serious?
Or something they can do right, or position themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity for us to give back. So we have a list of people. We're going to do selections, and then you pick one.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean,
Yes.
see why you should follow the Left Hand podcast, right? They're giving back.
Now, this is it. Okay, I'm going to choose one lucky winner.
And close my eyes.
Close it, yes.
And this is the lucky person.
One.
Oh my God.
Let's get to know who the lucky winner is.
Aaron Pierre. Okay, no. So
Oh my God.
the name is Janet Ajibade
Oh,
of
wow.
Mamushka Foods.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Janet.
Janet. You just won yourself a few hours of mentorship from Oche. He's very busy. So, of course, maybe after that period, you can do the paid one, Depends, regime. If you know, you know. All right, thank you. It's been an interesting conversation. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, my viewers, for sticking till the end and watching. I want to say thank you. On the description, we're going to have the link to join in case you want to be part of the event that is organizing. You can see that how to follow their different social media handle. And also there's a link for you to register as an SME to be mentored by any of the guests. You can be the next lucky winner. And you can also choose who you want to see next on the show. Thank you so much and see you in the next episode.